but the bumper's on there. It's just being held on with a couple of bolts at the moment. Hopefully I won't have to take this bumper off for quite some time. How's it going, guys? My name is Chase Farrow, and today we are going to be doing a mod that I have been oh so patiently waiting to do for about 6 to 7 months now. I'm super excited, but before we get into it, why don't we kick things off right with the first cold start of the year. I will never get tired of that sound. Now, if you saw the video I did on how to keep your car cool with a front splitter, or the more cooling mods on my C5 Corvette where I opened up the radiator shroud and converted the car to being a front breather, then you kind of already might suspect where this is going. Now, a lot of people really took exception to the way that I went about doing that. And if you were one of those people that took exception to the way that I did that, then you'll be happy to know that today I'm gonna be eating a little bit of humble pie and admitting that you guys were still wrong. Front breather is better, and now I have about 20,000 miles on the car, both on the road and on the track, that shows that the front breather design is better, even though it's a little bit crude and unrefined. On the road, I almost never see 200 plus, even during the summer. If I'm in really slow traffic, I might see like 205 to 207. Mind you, this is with a completely stock radiator, completely stock cooling system. I'm not even running a 160 thermostat in it. So today, we're not walking back that design. We're actually refining that design, and that's where these guys come in. Now, if you don't know what these are, I don't blame you. They're brand new. This is actually one of the very first sets. What exactly they're going to be doing is they're going to be taking the air that enters here and obviously here, and they're going to be channeling it all back directly to the radiator. And before everyone asks, as I know they will, no, I don't have a link to purchase this product. You guys actually might already know the guy that made these. He goes by Sean James on Facebook or Livin' Twice on Instagram. He does not have a website set up. If you want to buy a pair, I don't know when the next allocation of them is coming, so you'll have to get with him on that, but you'll need to either message him on Instagram or on Facebook to get that set up. Now over here, I've already got the front end of the car all torn apart. I've got the old shroud out, and I've got the new one here ready to be modified to accommodate these new vents. So effectively what I'll be doing is I will be measuring here. I'll be drawing a line. I'll use the Dremel to basically cut out the section specifically to fit the vents, and then the vents will mount to this and the whole thing will go up. I am gonna have to start by taking off my tow hook, because that is one thing I'm gonna have to figure out today, and that is how I'm gonna make the tow hook work with these new vents. All right, so basically the way we're gonna start is you're gonna want something kind of like this. I'm just using some wood that is left over from another project, actually gonna be in the next video. Basically what you want is you want kind of a place where you can lay your radiator shroud like this, and then get yourself like a white paint pen, and what you're gonna do is from right here above this lip, you're gonna measure 3 inches. So I'm gonna make a mark there. I know this isn't gonna be very visible on the camera, but I can actually see that surprisingly well. Then you're gonna come over here on the opposite side. You're gonna do the exact same thing. 3 inches right here, both sides. And then in the middle, 3 inches. So make those marks, and you're going to basically trace across and like join those marks that you just made right there. That looks about right. You're gonna that's nice and visible. Okay. The bottom of the duct will be on that line, and then basically trace. So let me see if I can do that. All right, so if you can see, now kind of got that little template there. I'm gonna grab the other one, I'm gonna do the other on this side. So when you take it off, you should have a pretty good outline there. I'm gonna go ahead and join these lines. And that's where you're gonna be cutting. Here's another angle. Hopefully you can kind of see my marks. So you can kind of see that these are basically just outlines of the ducts themselves. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the Dremel and I'm gonna get to cutting this. All right, gone. Perfect. Okay, so this is a real big scraggly mess. So what I'm gonna do is a couple of things. First, I'm going to take my little sanding attachment. I'm gonna go across, I'm gonna clean this up. I know you can't tell on camera, but I actually cut just inside that trace that I drew. So I would have room to basically clean this up with that little sanding attachment. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start trying to clean this up a little bit. All right, not perfect, but that is pretty cleaned up. A lot of that, yeah, just rub off. That looks like that did it. Yeah, that did it. Hell yeah. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of this, pick this up. It's just truck SUV edge trim. It's the same stuff that I used on my previous shroud when I cut it to just kind of clean it up and make it look a little bit nicer. It was like 12 bucks. And basically I'm just gonna run it around those edges and give it a nice clean look. Wow, that sucked. All right, I did end up, you can't see it. I don't want to take this out so you can, because it was kind of a pain to get in with this trim. The trim looks great. I had to, at the corners, like kind of like in this area, the trim was not, it was a little bit too rigid. So I had to just like snip little reliefs in it. It doesn't look as good now, but it still looks better than it would have if I didn't have it on there at all. So Sean supplies everyone who buys these with the washers and 3 screws, 3 bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and throw those on there. I thought the camera was recording, it wasn't. Basically what I did is I had the duct in there and I just used an awl to mark where I need to drill. And so I'm gonna drill those spots out and then we can mount the duct up. All right, so I got the duct on. Everything looks great. So now I'm gonna cut this side. I don't really need to film that. You guys saw everything on this side. No sense in burning through batteries unnecessarily, and when you're filming, everything takes longer. So I'm gonna get this side cut out. I'm gonna get that other duct mounted, and then we'll get it in the car. So a little bit of time's passed, a little bit more than I care to admit, but both sides are on there. It was a little bit of a wrestling match, admittedly. I got a little ambitious and overcut this out here, which is gonna bug me. It's not that big of a deal. It just sucks, but it's ready to go on. So now one of the things that you do have to do when you're putting it on is this is normally pinned up here. It has to come down, and you have to kind of work this shroud through there, because this spot up here where it's previously pinned, the ducts need to be able to really sit up against the frame rail. And so, yeah, this will have to just live underneath it. It's no big deal. It's easy. Just kind of pry these guys out and you're good to go. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to go ahead and first clean that. All of that is from the Tennessee trip. This was clean before. There's some leaves that were also in there, but I already kind of worked them out. So yeah. Got to make sure you're keeping that clean. Otherwise, that's going to really drastically affect your cooling. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take like a little hand broom to the front. I'm going to see if I can get down there, knock some of that grass and crap out of there, and then we will get this mounted up.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, so it is the next day. I just took the bumper back off. I ran out of daylight because I was kind of finagling with it, playing around with it, moving things, mocking up, making sure the bumper fit absolutely right. Because I wanted to make sure that whenever it was time to cut, I was cutting in the exact right place. I don't want any errors here. So I was looking at like the tolerances in the back there. I don't know if you can really see this very effectively. There is a little bit of a space versus up here. And I just wanted to make sure everything was completely correct. And I didn't really want to film that stuff because when you film that kind of thing, what you end up with is half a dozen dead batteries and 2.5 hours worth of footage that I would have to comb through just to find what's relevant and what's not. But I think I figured out what I want to do. So what I did was I went ahead and I put the tow hook on. You can see back there, I bolted it in and everything. So what I think I'll do is, I guess probably make like a 1/2 inch slot there, about the, the width of the tow hook, probably about 1/2 inch long. And then I should be able to, through the back or the front, feed the tow hook into the duct before I mount the shroud up, and then feed the whole thing up, tow hook and all, and then I can bolt the tow hook into place. I can fix the shroud into place, and then it should be good to go. Do me a favor though, treat this not as a how-to video, but more as like, oh, well, here's just how I worked through this. I'm kind of figuring this out as we go along. I'm pretty sure this is only the second car to ever have these ducts on it, and the first one was Sean's test car. So I'm basically gonna mark some lines real quick, just along the sides of the tow hook, and then hope I don't screw these ducts up. So let's go. I got it on there. It was a huge battle. It's a mega pain, but it's on there. I'm excited. Unfortunately, I basically ruined the nice powder coat that was on it, because there's no gentle way to do this. You basically just have to, once you get it fed through, you have to just manhandle this thing in there. But the tow hook is mounted, so now I'm going to fit the bumper. You have to really finagle it. to get the bumper fitted correctly. So that's going to be a little bit of a wrestle because you have to get it on there in a way in which these can slide over the inside of these right here. It's a pain, but with any luck, I will never have to take this apart again. Don't forget to plug in this harness. Ooh, something really, really important. I almost just forgot. If you bought another shroud specifically to do this, it probably didn't come with this sensor. So you will need to transfer that sensor over. Make sure you do that because that's extremely important.
2,000 years later.
All right, the bumper is back on. I still need to kind of finish buttoning it up, but the bumper's on there. It's just being held on with a couple of bolts at the moment. Hopefully I won't have to take this bumper off for quite some time. Now let's go ahead. We'll open the hood up so you can see completed what it looks like. Obviously my intake's not back on. Got to do that. Everything else, these things never sit right. But tow hook's in there. I need to tighten that down actually. I'm glad I looked at that. But yeah, looks great down there. I don't know if you can see in here, but it's all mounted, tow hook's in. And it looks like it did before, but now just with significantly better airflow. So I'm very excited about that. And I guess the next time this bumper comes off, it'll be to swap my front splitter because that crack is getting progressively worse. This thing is taking some real abuse, but that'll be for another day. In the meantime though, that's gonna be it for this video. I will be driving it. I'll give an actual driving review of it, see how my temperatures change, if they change at all. It's really hard to measure when you're just kind of normal cruising. So I'll get out there, I'll do some spirited driving. Late next month, I have a shakedown day. I'm gonna be going to the Tremec Lone Star Shootout, doing the autocross there. I'll be shaking down everything. And then I'll be able to actually really see some physical differences in the performance, at least as far as cooling goes. I'm not getting any extra power out of this. Now, some of you guys might wonder, what now with the big hole in the front bumper? Well, I don't want to get rid of it. I don't have my factory filler plate anymore. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, with the space in between these, I should be able to fit a small oil cooler. And so I think I'm gonna run oil cooler here, and then that should really use up every bit of air that's coming in. I want to maximize. I will run a thermostatic switch on it. That way it's only open and running through the oil cooler when it really needs the oil cooled, like on track and stuff like that. Because obviously one of the downsides to an oil cooler is it won't heat up to its actual temperature fast enough, and then you have the drivability issues with that. So I'll run a thermostatic switch on it. So that'll really maximize all of the air that's coming in to this front bumper. Now you also may have noticed that my garage is really torn apart, boxes everywhere, brake discs lying on the back, the tail end of the car is torn apart, and that is for the next video. So a little sneak peek of that is my brakes. Now, this side's done. I did one side because I wanted to make sure I was doing everything right before muddling through on video. So the other side hasn't been done yet. So you will get a full video of that. I know probably just about everyone has seen people do this brake conversion, but what I haven't seen people do is the rears. I needed to swap out my parking brake pads, and I'm gonna be going up to a larger size disc and caliper in the rear. So I'll be running a J55 back there with the C6Z06 front rotor, obviously the Brembo Cadillac ATS-V caliper. So definitely stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm super excited to take this front breather setup a step further, and there is one more step that'll be coming probably in February. That's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, drive safe, throw your car batteries in the ocean, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.